Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning onto the channel. I'm glad and happy to have you here watching this video with us, and God bless you so much as you like and subscribe to the channel. Today we are going to look at the believer and sin. The believer and sin. And I want you to know this, note this down. The believer cannot be called a sinner. Not that the believer does not make mistakes, but the believer cannot be called a sinner. And I will explain that, okay? Romans chapter 5 verse 13. Romans chapter 5 verse 13 says, "For until the law, sin was in the world, but sin was not imputed when there is no law." I'll take it again. "For until the law, sin was in the world, but sin was not imputed when there is no law." Which means that sin was there, but there was no one that is referred to as a sinner, even though they sin. But until the law came, the arrival of the law begins imputation of sin. They begin to impute sin on us, on people. So if you commit a mistake, you are a sinner. That is the era of the law. But we thank God, the believer cannot be a sinner. The believer cannot be called a sinner. No, because the believer is no longer under that master, sin, or the law. The believer is no longer under the law, and so the believer cannot be a sinner. The only thing that can impute sin on you is the law. But we had once be under the law, where we were in debt, because sin was imputed unto us, and the wages of sin is death. And because of this, our sins had to be paid for by death. Then the Son of God came down and then sacrificed himself for us. He died in our place, and after he died, he resurrected, where we have new life. His death does not bring us life. It is by his resurrection that we receive life. The death of Jesus put an end to our life that we lived under the law. I take that again. The death of Jesus put an end to the life we lived under the law, where we were in debt because we could not keep the law. So we were in debt. And while we were in debt, we do not have any idea how to pay this debt and get ourselves out unless we die. But the Son of God came to die in our place, and by his death, an end is put to that life we live under the wrong master, the law, who is the imputer of sin and who is our accuser. So, after Jesus died, the Bible says he disarmed principalities and powers and resurrected. By his resurrection, he disarmed principalities and powers and give life